Several people were searching for treasure at the bottom of the sea, only to discover a female corpse down below. The case dates back to 2 days earlier. Upon receiving a report, they found a badly decomposed body with no clothing on it, indicating this was merely a body disposal site. Fortunately, one of the prosthetic eyes provided a lead. An agent traced the serial number and identified the deceased as Sam, a security guard at a local museum. However, the museum director claimed Sam hadn't shown up for work for the past 10 days. After reviewing the security footage, they discovered that on Sam's last day at work, he had stolen something from the storage room. Further investigation revealed it was a map documenting the location of a sunken treasure ship. The director insisted nobody knew whether the map was authentic or not. One thing was certain: Sam's death was definitely connected to this treasure map. The agent contacted his former comrade-in-arms, Walter, who agreed to help search for the treasure map after a brief conversation. Walter's team went to Sam's home to investigate. Eric first analyzed the neighborhood conditions and the victim's income, deducing that he lived frugally, which suggested he wasn't a professional thief but had been hired by someone to steal the map. Upon entering the room, Walter immediately switched into investigative mode, putting himself in the victim's shoes. He quickly deduced that the victim suffered from depression and had recently sold most of his possessions, keeping only a few hundred detective novels. Sam must have imagined himself as the protagonist in those books and went to the exchange without the map, only to be killed by the murderer and dumped in the swamp. Meanwhile, a female agent called to report she'd found evidence of torture on the victim's fingers. She suspected the killer hadn't extracted any information before Sam died from the trauma. However, Walter disagreed. He had found a pawn shop receipt the victim had hidden, and suspected Sam had already revealed the map's location to the killer. Walter's analysis proved correct. When the three arrived at the pawn shop with the receipt, all they found was a smashed guitar. According to the shop owner, a woman with a chest tattoo had already retrieved what was inside. Following the lead from a tattoo artist, they quickly located the woman. When Walter tried to approach her with his charm, she looked at him with disgust. Left with no choice, Walter persistently followed her from the bar all the way to the dock, but the girl simply boarded a boat and left. Walter then went to the lab to examine a photo of the treasure map. Angela told them about a set of coordinates on the map. This was where the ship had sunk. This brings us back to the opening scene. Walter and his two partners arrived at the coordinates hoping to find the shipwreck, only to discover the girl's body there instead. After the body was transported back to the lab, Camille found no signs of drowning. During the autopsy, the medical examiner discovered something lodged in the victim's throat. When Camille extracted it, it turned out to be the missing treasure map from the museum. Not only that, but she also found a severed finger inside. Clearly, the girl had bitten it off during a struggle with the assailant. Unfortunately, the fingerprint had been dissolved by digestive fluids and couldn't be used to identify the killer. Walter then noticed something on the treasure map. Under the influence of blood, a pattern of 3 nails had appeared. He consulted a friend, who explained that the 3-nail pattern indicated the artist belonged to the Jesuits, a branch of Catholicism. This so-called Jesuit order had been abolished by the Pope right around the time the San Esperanza sank. This meant the treasure had remained undiscovered all this time because people had been looking at the wrong coordinates. Since the day navigation technology was invented, the standard for latitude has never changed. People worldwide consistently use the equator as 0 degrees.